let's start. It's an honor for me. It's the second time I'm coming here with a guest lecture, and you are lucky because the second iteration is it's improved, enhanced, and with Bluetooth. And short introduction about myself. I'm game producer. I work in the games industry 8.5 years. I worked at Gameloft Saigon studio here for 4.5 years, working on casual games, a little bit at Playrix, and till recently at Carry First. It's an American startup targeting African market. And I worked on casual games, a couple of them with licensed IPs. Bobo Boy. Did you ever watch cartoons about Bobo Boy? So yeah, a very successful game was made here in Saigon by Gameloft. I was working as producer on it. And Queen Rock Tour. Maybe you watched Bohemian Rhapsody movie. So about the rock band Queen, which is legendary in the West. So, and here also in Saigon, we made the official game for the Queen band. So that's my experience, the games which I was working on, and I will be talking mostly about mobile games. I didn't work on PC and consoles, a lot of like transitional, similar pipelines and so on, but a lot of different. My experience mostly based on mobile. And I'm curious about you. So I know that you are the third year students. You are going to look for jobs pretty soon, I think. Tell me about what, I assume you also play games. What platforms do you use for playing games? PC. PC most of all. Cool. What genres? In what genres do you play for your pleasure, for your own like entertainment?
RPG, MOBA, FPS.
Okay.
Constant.
Hardcore, midcore. Yes. Okay, cool. Probably some of you dreamt about like maybe joining AAA studios when you graduate. Who has a desire to work on AAA games, like on your career? Not real. Wow. What do you want? Maybe you have an idea about your dream game. Can you tell us what is your dream game, like in just 1 or 2 sentences? What kind of game is that? Like a brief pitch for investors. Maybe you.
Yeah.
What is your dream game about?
Well, I can just say that I want to make a traditional rhythm game.
Written game.
Yeah.
Okay. Queen Rock Tour was a traditional written game from mobile phones. This was our team was working on here in Gameloft Saigon. What kind of written game? What will be
What
special?
I want it to be.
Yeah, about it.
I just wanted to have a little feeling of like what you see in the arcade put into a PC.
Okay, in arcade.
Yeah. Have
Oh.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Guys, you were also nodding about your dream game. What is your dream game about?
I want to make a co-op survival game. It's like a Viking age with dragons.
Okay, nice. It was Valheim. Yeah,
Yes.
popular several years ago. Also want to talk?
RPG that's research based.
Research based.
Basically, you have to research the game to play to actually play.
Oh wow. Research like the systems which in the game or like scientific research?
You can not exactly scientific research. It's more like how the world works. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Sorry for being late.
So tell us about what is your dream game is going to be about?
My dream game?
Yeah, probably you dream about creating a game.
So the type of game or
Yeah, type of game, what it will be.
probably like a first person shooting game.
What's special about it?
I think it's
sort of like when you're fighting in close quarter under the tunnel, you only have like a few seconds of time like to see the enemy before you shoot.
Okay.
And you can shoot back.
It's like in Call of Duty, this like this crates
Yeah.
level. I don't remember the name of it. Okay, cool. Thank you. You were fast to answer. So okay, so cool. You have different projects, and this was maybe your aspiration to join game design program. And let's see. Maybe there will be some reality check to see your like chances and your ways how to get to that dream. So what we will be talking about today is about a little bit games market, about some KPIs which you should know about as game designers and people who work in games. And the biggest part will be about gameplay plus something else for what means commercial product. What else do we need to add to the game so make it a product which can sell on the market? Some career tips, and I would love to ask you for feedback. There will be a short Google form. Let's get into it. So we have time until 6 p.m. Yes, is it correct? Yeah. So let's see how we go. Maybe if we have not enough time, we will be skipping or jumping through something. Let's get into it. So here we see that mobile games, they dominate by players. So it's the biggest segment in terms of players, more than consoles and PC combined. And in terms of revenue, it's also like 50% of the market belongs to mobile games. And so it's the biggest segment, the most companies working in, the most amount of money there. What interesting about PC and consoles, that actually players love to play in old games which are released more than 6 or more than 5 years ago. And in 2024, only 8% of player time on PC and consoles was dedicated to new releases. So if you're releasing a new game on PC and console, you will be like fighting just for 8% of the player time with other new releases. People are playing Counter-Strike, Fortnite, Roblox, and so on. By the way, who is playing Roblox? Is it popular among you? You play Roblox? Sometimes. Who has account at Roblox? I have account. I don't play, but I have account. Okay. So it's a very interesting platform. We will come back to it. We will talk about it closer to the end. And this is like by revenue. So again, you see the premium on PC accounts only like 28% of revenue, and microtransaction, it means all those live operated games, they take the most of the money. But on mobile, you can see that you can see that there's a big spread of different genres and different games. So like this is by revenue. Strategy gets the most money, RPGs and puzzle, casino, simulation, but even like among tabletop games, there are like tens and tens of millions of downloads, and if you make a tabletop game, your company, like small, medium company, can be successful. And also interesting that distribution of downloads and revenue is very different. For example, like strategy games, only like 4% of downloads, like 4% of players are playing strategy games, but 20%, 21% of revenue comes from strategy games. So it's like very disbalanced how revenue is distributed. Like you see that RPG, puzzle, casino games, only 2% of people are playing casino games, but it's like 50% of the market in revenue. And on mobile, also new games have a chance. So here we have like among 1,000 games by revenue, which in like 2024, there were like around 75 new games which were released just in that year. So we can look here in 2024, like Pokemon, AFK Journey, Sea of Conquest, Love and Deep Space. These are new games which were released in 2024, and they like got into 1,000 top games by revenue. So why do I tell you that? To show that on PC and console, the market is much more concentrated right now. There's not so big amount of companies who run big live operated games like Epic Games running Fortnite, Krafton running PUBG, Call of Duty, which grab a lot of attention and play time, and also like money from players. And by starting a new like PC or console studio, you are fighting not like for 100% of the market, you're fighting for a fraction of market which players like dedicate to new games. While on mobile, there are much more, currently there are much more players, much more revenue, and also the concentration is not so big. There are like not dozens but hundreds of successful companies. And Vietnam is really good at producing games which at least are like high in downloads. So like AB Game Studios, there's 3 billion lifetime downloads estimated by Sensor Tower. Sensor Tower is a company which tracks all the mobile market, and you can go there and register with free account. You can get different information to understand what's happening on the market. So, and these are like the studios where maybe you will be working after graduation because they're successful, they're local, and I'm sure they have opportunities for like entry-level jobs. So here's a user story. So as a game designer in Vietnam, most probably I will be starting my career in mobile games, puzzle, social casino, hybrid casual, and after that there is a lot of different opportunities what can be. So there are not much PC and console game studios in Vietnam, and it will be some small studios which are releasing their own products, but really small, and there's some outsourcing companies which are working like Virtuos or Vendor Studio, but they're mostly working on art outsourcing rather than creating like full products where for game designer is a lot of work. And the second user story is that one day I will be responsible for starting a new game project, and it will be either my startup or inside a studio. And if you are responsible for a new project, you should think not only about gameplay but many other components which are required to make a successful commercial game. And you're in luck because today we will be talking about these components. So before we get to this, there was like feedback from previous times that it's important to maybe remind you or maybe to tell you about the different KPIs which are used in games, and especially in free-to-play games on mobile. So maybe you know some of them, like retention. It's very important to understand how many players are returning to your game, because it means if it's interesting for them or not. If you have high retention, it means players are interested. If you have very low retention, it means they are not launching the game again, and they are not going to pay in the game, and you will not be profitable on this project. Daily active users, monthly active users. So you need to also monitor how many players are there, and did you ever encounter this before? Do you like talk about this at any of your subjects? Not really. Okay. So this is about product metrics. It's like when you work on gameplay, you think about how to make it fun. It's more about emotions, about something qualitative. You can make a play session and ask players how do they feel after play session. But this is data. It means it gathered from the product by tracking. We will be talking about it, how to gather all this data. and it gives information to product managers. Product managers will be working with you as game designers, and you need to brainstorm together. Okay, if retention is low, what can we do to improve retention? What type of features will be improving retention? So now you can just maybe write down those metrics, and you can explore more about them later. So RPU, RPPU, so how much money we earn per user and how much money we earn per paying user. And we can look at this in different periods. Session length and frequency, how long players are playing in our game per day, how many times they launch our game per day. It also shows how they're interested in it, but also different gameplays can require different attention spans. There are some games which you launch several times per day to go and gather something like on a farm, or there are some like mobile games where you launch it once per day, but you play like maybe 1 hour, several matches. The next part, cost per install. How much it costs for us to pay for one acquisition of one user. Yeah, our game, most of the games are free on mobile, but to promote it, you need to acquire users, you need to pay to advertisement networks for this. And ROAS, very important, how much revenue we are getting compared to how much we had spent on advertisement. For example, you spent on advertisement $1,000, and on day 30, those users, that cohort of users, they had spent $1,200. You have ROAS 120%, means you are profitable. And that plus 20%, then you need to scale your game. So because $200 it's not enough to cover your production cost. But if you have a positive ROAS, you can scale your game. It means scales acquire more and more users, and instead of $1,000, next time you spend $10,000, $100,000, and then if you still have the same ROAS, your profit on advertisement will be already $20,000, and maybe it will help you to recoup your development cost. Conversion rate, 1,000 users came to your store page in Google Play in App Store, and 100 downloaded your game. Means that you have 10% conversion rate. And for example, another conversion rate, you have 1,000 players active in your free-to-play game, and just 50 of them are paying, have bought something during their lifetime in the game. It means you have 5% conversion rate into paying users, which is really good for free-to-play games. You can consider that 1% of players will be paying for something. Click-through rate is a special conversion rate in advertisement, which is very important for understanding how effective your advertisement means, how attractive it for players. If there is high CTR, it means that people are really interested in this ad and they want to make a next step and see what kind of game is that. And lifetime value, how much you are getting from a player during their whole life in the game, and it's based on historical data. Product managers and data analysts, they build models how to predict this LTV, based on historical data and based on the current behavior of this player cohort. Any questions about this? Is it new for you, or did you hear about it before? Is it new? Do you think it's relevant for you as game designer? So my tip for you, you can ask ChatGPT how you can influence on it as game designer. So you can create, even in free version, you can create a project with ChatGPT, and in projects you can have different settings. You can go into settings of this project and say the role, for example, your experience product manager in free-to-play games with 10 plus years of experience on the games market, and you are mentoring a junior game designer how to make more effective, more profitable free-to-play games. And be candid, no sugarcoating. And this, then you can ask, okay, if I'm a game designer, how can I influence retention? How can I improve LTV? And then ChatGPT can tell you really a lot. You ask, give me examples from top grossing games. So you can go and explore this more. Do you have any questions? Let's continue then.
The question.
Okay. So our main part, and it will be the longest part. If you have any questions, you just better stop me right away. Otherwise, I will be talking and talking for a long time. So gameplay, and what else except gameplay exists in the game? But let's look at gameplay from perspective of like game studio, which already like have game in production. Either it's released, or it means released and now we are operating it, or it's just still in creation, but we have a good understanding what kind of game we want to build. So actually, like the design of new features starts from product brief. A product manager thinks, okay, we want to focus, for example, on revenue from advertisement. And we need some features where we can add advertisement placements, more preferably rewarded video when players click on the open and watch ad and get some reward. So, and this is like what we want to achieve with this and what kind of feature could be. And then game designer, based on this brief and based on the knowledge of the market and based on the experience, proposes, okay, this types of feature we can make, and for example, I don't know, we can add a revive to our level, or we can like make a completely new gameplay system. And after design document is done, UX designer could be creating a flow, or maybe you as game designer, you already create some mockups and either in any like visual editor or in Figma. And not every studio has UX designer. And then artist looks at this and creates UI art, creates art assets which are required for this feature. Then it comes to engineers, they have the logic described in game design documents, they have a user flow made by a game designer, like as a UX designer or also by you. They have art assets and they write the logic in code and integrate everything together. And then QA engineer is testing and checking that it corresponds to the requirement in the game design document, art assets integrated properly, and so on and so forth. And this time, product manager cannot tell at this point yet if it's according to the brief or no, because they don't have data yet. But after release, then the hypothesis of product manager will be tested. Do we get uplift of ad revenue as we wanted with this feature? How much, and so on. And then this feature could be iterated either because it wasn't successful, then let's tweak. We might think why it's not successful. Or if it's successful, then let's double down on it. Let's advance this feature and make it even more important and prominent in the game. So this is how gameplay design can look in a mid-sized studio which already have a concept of the game or already launched the game. So you, as a game designer, you're working in this kind of a water flow. So gameplay. Yes.
So what is the role of the product manager before the game is released?
Role of product manager actually is to make research and to make a concept of the game. Currently in mobile game studios, the product managers, they are making decisions what kind of game we want to do. So based on our expertise, based on specialists which we have, so it can start from concepting, like creating a game concept, and then making like roadmap of features, which are the most important, which you want to add in what sequence. When the game is launched, it's live ops planning and live ops features, and tracking data, like not tracking data, but analyzing data. So together with data analyst, or if there's no data analyst and product manager is doing it, analyzing data and like digging through data and understanding how players behave, how can we improve our KPIs and so on. Play tests, usually also product managers are responsible for this. Surveys of players could be. So they are like about they care about the game as a product. So about like business product. So and like game designers can focus on just like making the game fun, and making those features which the product managers think that will improve game, like how to make those features really fun and engaging for players. How gameplay? We should talk about business model. So business model, how the game is making money, is influencing gameplay, and gameplay will also influence business model. So there are like a couple of main business models. The biggest money are in free-to-play games. So you download a game for free, but as a player you can spend money, and there actually no cap how much money you can spend. This way, social casino and for X strategy games, mobile, they earn really a lot of money because some rich people download them, get engaged, and can like spend $10,000 per month, for example. So in our purchases, the main ads a little bit like less. In some, like in hyper casual, then ads will be more prominent, and there are like some other sources of revenue which are really tiny compared to the main. And what people buy actually, so some will buy progression and like overcoming the challenge. For example, in coin looters, there's like spin, 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 or in Monopoly Go, spin, spin, spin. If you match 3 puzzle, you died before finish of the level, you can buy like 5 more moves, 5 more turns. Status cosmetics, FPS or mobile, where you can get a skin for your character. Speeding up and convenience. For X strategy, it's all about like building a big army faster than others, building the city faster than others. And gacha, it's kind of a gambling. The thrill of getting an unknown reward when you like pull gacha and you want to get a nice character, but the chance is really small, and you need to spend a lot of money to get that character which you want. Or like Call of Duty, a mythical weapon to get a really cool weapon in Call of Duty mobile. I mean, it will take you a lot of time. So premium games, it is what as PC players you know the most, yes?
Just want to ask, is Axe still not a sustainable? Because I heard from somebody saying like that there's something happened that make like Axe revenue is increase or not.
On the mobile?
On mobile, yeah. Not sure.
Well, what happened, I think that you might be referring about changes in privacy on Apple platform. Like several years ago, they changed privacy, that it's become harder to target players with advertisement. There's less information about players and what they do in different, in other apps. And actually it moved a lot of advertisement money from like ecosystem onto Apple platform. Like Apple Search became like multi-billion business after that, because they said we care about privacy of users, but actually they like got a lot of billions of dollars on the advertisement platform thanks to that, because that advertisement became more effective. So yeah, it's like it killed hyper-casual business model when you could make a game and put a lot of ads there and scale it and like earning several cents on each user, like still get a lot of money. So this like type of games transformed into hybrid casual. So they have the same style, very simple gameplay, which is engaging and novel in something, but they have very heavy meta game systems. So there's deep progression, and people start spending more on in-app purchases in this type of games and on watching ads. So it's still there. It's very hard right now to like launch a new game on mobile because there are a lot of successful games, and they just continue releasing new content, and not many players are switching between games. But still, as I was showing, like 75 games which were released just last year, they got into one top 1,000 games. So it's still like easier to get into the top on mobile than currently on PC, where players like play Counter-Strike, Dota, Fortnite, and don't pay a lot of attention to new releases. So premium, which is like traditional for PC consoles, but still there are already a lot of free-to-play games on PC and consoles also, and different other business models which are more niche, and actually you can also come up with your business model in your company with something like different and novel on the market. But free-to-play premium is very straightforward, and most of the games operate in this area. Web3 is like popular. Was a couple of years ago here in Vietnam. There was a lot of Web3 companies emerged which were combining blockchain technology with games and trying to like generate some coins there, cryptocurrencies, selling NFTs and so on. But there's not much movement on this market currently, and I don't know what these companies are going to do when they financing will finish, like the investment which they raised will finish. So business model and gameplay, and the next is market research. To decide what type of gameplay you want to make in your game, it's important to understand what's there. The two areas which you need to understand. You need to understand your audience, what are they doing, what are they playing, who are they, and you also need to understand what's going on in this market niche. If you want to make a first-person shooter, you need to understand what's going on there. There are so many first-person shooters. How are you going to be different? So you need to look at what are the gaps there in current products. What problem or what like desire like players of FPL shooters have that none of the games currently can satisfy in a good way. And after doing market research, you can actually work on your game concept, which like encompasses also will influence your business model, will influence your gameplay. So game concept is like a blueprint for a building. You make a document, it's either a slide deck or a text document where you describe on high level different elements of the game. So you imagine in your head the game, how it's going to operate, and usually like product managers are doing it, but you as game designer could be a person who doing this game concept. So from how you're going to make money on it, how the gameplay will be looking and feeling, what is the main game loop? Do you know what is this term, main game loop? Cool. Like what is the setting of it, how what is potential direction, and so on. So again, you can like work with ChatGPT to like think what else sections could be there. What is important to find your game pillars and to define them. So these are 3-5 foundational principles. For example, when I was working in startup targeting African market, for us was pillar technical accessibility. That the game should be working really good on very big phones. Because in Africa, people buy $50 Android phones, which has a very low spec. They cannot play Call of Duty on that phones, but they download some offline FPS shooters, and these shooters, which nobody never heard about, have millions of downloads in Africa because they can run on these very big phones. So when we were making a concept, we said this is a pillar for us, just a technical accessibility. That there should be offline mode when people like have bad connection, it should run on big phones and so on. So it was because it was our target market. But for your game, for example, it doesn't matter this technical accessibility, so it wouldn't be a pillar. The pillar would be, for example, a very deep progression if it's a kind of RPG game, or if it's like discovery of how the world works. That it means that at the beginning there's unknown how this world works, and you need to have some step-by-step process how you discover this world, and you should still be able to do something before you discover the first features of the world, but very limited and with a good progression how you discover everything step by step. And there need to be innovation, something unique about your game. There's so many FPS on the market. What will be unique about your FPS? So, for example, shooting like in small spaces where you have just a fraction of a second to react. Maybe this is like interesting shooter will stand out, and this is something that you can prototype actually and check this hypothesis. So when you're thinking about something unique in the genre which is already established, you need to look at your competitors and see, okay, what is missing there? So you have a game concept which defines the gameplay, and after you know what kind of game you want to do, you can think about art direction, how the game will look like, because how the same gameplay with different art direction will give in different emotions, different feelings. You can make third-person action in different styles, and it will be a completely different mood of the game. And there are also specific art styles usually combined with some genres. You know that if people who play FPS, they usually love realism, they usually love weapons more than magic, for example. So you can try to innovate, for example, make a first-person shooter with magic, but there was such an attempt a couple of years ago, it failed completely. So you need to make a good research what players will want to, how they want to experiment. So after you have a game concept and market research, your art team can start art exploration, to see what kind of art styles are good here and how we can make something also new with art style. It could be also something unique for you that nobody was doing FPS in this art style, but let's make exploration, maybe make some, we can make fake screenshots and make advertisement and see how many people are clicking on those screenshots, and make a fake landing page that you have a game with this art style, and see how many people click on install button or click on a buy button, and you can judge about interest of players in this case. Also, you should consider if it's 2D or 3D art, there will be different pipelines, different workflows, and different software used by artists, and different skill set. Platform is also important to understand that the platform will dictate what kind of gameplay will be there, because FPS on PC and FPS on mobile, they're different. The time session, the technical characteristics of the device, and the size of the screen is different. So you need to also include it into your design. tech stack. So when you also the team, when you get a team, what you should consider about what team engine you will be using, what code repository using. This is like with your lead engineer, with CTO. They will be deciding it, but you should be aware what kind of questions they have, and they need to decide how the team is working with the code, how like people merge code, how they comment, how they review it. Is it like peer-to-peer review? Is it pair programming, and so on? How you are getting the builds. So everybody should be able in the team to make a build whenever there are some changes, or every day you have a new build of the game. If you have multiplayer in the game, if you have a chat in the game, there's a lot of underlying infrastructure need to be added to enable this. And also, if you have some special technical requirements for your game, there need to be some technical solutions. And this is like an anecdote story. Beware of legacy code. Do you know what is legacy code? It's something old. So, for example, if you take over a project which was already done by another team, or you buy, your studio buys a game, and now your team will be working on it, for you it's a legacy code. Some other people were working on it, on this project. And even if they gave you documentation, there could be different problems. It was happening in my previous project, that nobody in the team knows how it works, and you think, okay, now we will be adding new features. When you add new features, all features are breaking down, and nobody understands why, because there are some hidden interdependencies. So it often happens when a new team starts working on a game that could make sense to completely rewrite it. You have the art assets, you have design documentation, or you like see how the game works. You write your own design documentation. You repeat the same gameplay, but engineers rewrite everything from scratch, because it could be faster than to understand how the code from the old team is working. And my previous project, we were working like, there was a game which was has promising KPIs, and it was bought from a team which was not very experienced. And we missed making a technical audit of this game, of the code. Just start, okay, let's fix some bugs, and also let's add new features, because we need to improve KPIs. And it turned out that adding new features is very hard, and it's very slow, because you add something and everything else breaks down, and you need to debug, and you need to fix. A lot of time was spent on that, and it was dragging, and at some point nobody wanted to like completely rewrite it, because already new systems were added on top of that. But because the team was moving so slowly, and we had to split engineers, like half of engineers are rewriting the code system by system, and half of engineers are writing new features. The space of adding new features was very slow, because only half of the team was working on that. But the pace of rewriting was also slow, because there were so many systems in the game, and we did not focus completely on it. So looking back, we understand that actually when we got this game, probably we should just rewrite everything from scratch. It would take like several months, but after that the team would be adding new features with a high velocity. So it's something that you should be aware when you're getting work on a legacy code, on a legacy projects. You should like propose that we need to make a technical audit. Is it faster for us to continue what other team was doing, or maybe it will be faster, more productive to rewrite everything? For players, it will be the same game, but your team will know the core, the code behind it, and can continue working without problems. So this is what some from my practice, and also in tech, you need to understand that there are a lot of stuff which you add as like SDK, software development kits, so from third parties. For example, you want to track data, you don't need to write it from scratch, you're using something like Firebase or Game Analytics, and you just write your tracking events. We will talk about it. For crashes, tracking crashes, you also use tools. And for UA attribution, user acquisition attribution, it means when you run a campaign for your game and your advertisement is showing like in Google, Facebook, and other different places, when players click and install your game, you want to know that, okay, these players came from Facebook and these players came from Google, and you can compare how they behave in the game. So for example, this game, these players, they have day 30 retention 30%, which is good. And these players have day 30 retention like 10%. So, okay, I will put my advertisement budget into this advertisement network because the players have like good affinity to my game. They really like my game and they stay for longer. And to make this type of analysis, you need a system which will tell you, hey, this user is coming from here, this is organic user, this is like user from QR code. You can also track QR codes. But you need to integrate something like Singular Ops Flyer into your game to be able to do this. And it's also a paid service. You pay them like small amount depending on how many users you have. And ads mediation is when you have ads in your game, you are using probably the most popular now plugin Max. They integrate a lot of advertisement networks. So there are a lot of advertisement networks which you can promote your game, and not to integrate a lot of SDKs. You just add one, and it have like adapters, how they call it, for every other network. For cloud save, of course, you want to, when you play the game, you delete it on your old phone. You want to continue it on a new phone. It means that you need to support the game needs to support cloud save, and the save is somewhere on the server. And when you install the same game on your device and you use the same login, you just continue your progress. You don't lose everything what you had in the game. As a game developer, you need to support this feature. You need to provide this infrastructure. There should be a safe somewhere on the server. Social logins, usually you need to like a lot of work to integrate it. Like players want to like have a list of friends on Facebook. So you provide Facebook login, and then you need to solve a lot of different conflicts, potential conflicts in flows. And as a game designer, you also will be taking part in this. Like when players are logging in at the same time on two devices, what happens when there is like they progressed without login, and they log in, and there's a different progress. There are two saves. How we will provide them, how we will ask what saves they want to keep, and so on. So usually it takes like a lot of time to integrate those logins, and actually it makes sense on when you have like, for example, day 30 retention like really nice, then it makes sense to integrate those social logins and have cloud safe. Because otherwise the people are just living in your game shorter than usually they change phones. But if it's like the game for like playing for months, like several months people are playing, then yeah, they will be asking for cloud save and for social logins really a lot. A/B testing is very important, that you integrate a new feature, but you have a hypothesis it will improve your KPIs. But it's a hypothesis at this point, so you enable the feature just for 50% of players, and then you compare how the KPIs are changing. So you integrate a daily reward in your mobile game, and it should like improve retention. And then you have 50% of players with daily reward, 50 without, and you see that actually it didn't influence retention at all, but now you are giving more rewards, and it's like actually hurts your economy because it inflates economy. People are getting more like currency, and they stop buying actually not purchases. So people who are getting daily reward, they didn't start to log in more often, but they now buy less stuff in your shop, and it means that you made a disbalanced feature. It's hurting you more than helping. And you can understand this from A/B test really fast, because if you roll out feature for everyone, you would not know why people started to buy less. And especially if you in update you add several features, you don't know how they influence, which feature influence the behavior of the player. By A/B testing, just one feature, you can tell exactly what happened based on the data which you collect. Push notifications are also important for mobile games to improve retention. Google Play and App Store, they require their own SDKs. So this is everything what technical team and producers will be thinking about, but you as designers need to understand that actually beyond gameplay, there's a lot of work for your engineers to do, which seems like not influencing the players directly. It's more like influence your product and your team. So beyond technical stuff, the data tracking is important because you need to understand what happens in the game. And you, together with data analyst, you will have to prepare a tracking document. It's like the list of all track events which should be tracked. For example, winning a level, losing a level, gaining anything in the game, like economy. It's important to design and tweak economy. You need to know how much players have of anything, like of currency, of lives, of hit points, whatever is changing value in your game. And the data analysts, they need to set up the data pipeline. Like, okay, you're using Firebase, for example, for tracking events. You keep all of the data about events somewhere in data infrastructure like AWS or Azure, whatever. And then you using, for example, Tableau to visualize, you need to build dashboards. The data analyst is building dashboards so everybody can see, okay, this is a funnel, for example, of tutorial. And we see that on step 10, we have drop of 10% of players. It means that step 10 have some issue. We shouldn't have such a big drop in tutorial in one step. So when you have those dashboards, you can analyze data, and you can also, as game designer, look at it and give suggestions. But most of the time, product managers and data analysts are doing that. And you can update your product based on this. You can run A/B tests based on hypotheses which you get from data and iterate. With every new feature, you need to add tracking events also. So not to forget that actually you wouldn't know how the new feature works if you are not tracking it. Live operations. At this point, any questions and comments?
Question?
I have
Yes.
a question about the tracking.
Yes.
Like when we make data tracking, like we need to care about the privacy.
Yes. You need to take care about privacy. So there are strict laws in some countries like European Union, United States, Korea, and so on, and they are very different. So you cannot gather data which can also identify users. So, or if you want to identify users, you need to be very careful about that, and there will be more like you need to ask more players about their consent. So how is this usually done? You integrate SDKs for gathering data, and they are already like compliant with the laws. So the most important, not to gather the ID of devices. So ID of devices like personal data. And what type of like offers did you buy in the shop? It's not personal data until you know the name of the player. So if you don't have IDs, if you don't like this data of behavior, it needs to be decoupled from any identifiable data like names, emails, IDs of devices. So in this case, you're gathering too much personal data, and it could be a breach of law in some country, or you need like to keep this data then in European Union if you are like gathering all of this data about European users. So you want to avoid this, And that's why you're using SDKs which are already compliant with these laws, and you just like go through SDKs and you get the data about behavior, but you don't want like to identify a player personally who like bought, I don't know, 10 swords in your RPG game for real money. You just want to have this behavioral data and analyze behavioral data. But you need to be aware about it and be compliant. Your the data team in companies, they need to build this pipeline that they do not interfere with any personal data laws in territories where you operate. And in Vietnam, there are also like strict laws. This is why many like global companies, when they want to launch the game here in Vietnam, they go to VNG or FunTap, like to local publishers, because otherwise they cannot comply with the laws. It's very hard for them to set up servers here and keep user information inside Vietnam. So they go to VNG, which have all the stack, and they partner with VNG, and then when I try to launch a game in American games, they tell me, hey, you need to download Vietnamese game. You cannot play this like global version of the game. And you need to create Vietnamese account and download VNG version. So yeah, that's very valid to like adhere to laws which exist in the country about private data. Next, Black Ops. So you probably know this game. It's a very popular game. And how we can define Live Ops? It's like any changes in the game which give new content for the players, but you don't need to release update for it. They are running on templates. For example, you have a battle pass, a very common now feature that you progress through the 1 month, through the season, and you unlock rewards. And the next month, there will be a new battle pass. But you as a game owner, as a game operator, you don't need to release update because battle pass functionality is already there. And on server, you just said, okay, this is a new rewards, new cosmetics, new like stuff which we give as a reward in this battle pass, and the game downloads it like just new content. You don't need to release. On like chain offer, like get something for free, and here you need to pay $1 to get this reward, and then again two rewards for free, and then $2 for reward number 5. Like different types of mini game. So you prepare this mini game once. You need to like as a template and like release update, but then you can just every month you change assets in mini game, and for players it seems that it's a new mini game every month, but you just swapping assets, and like in 1 year you repeat, like you have 20 games which rotate every month. And like here it's a screenshot from Monopoly Go. You can see there's a lot of different stuff going on. It's all live ops events, and they like, I don't know, this is chain offer. This is like you need to like break the bank of other players, and this is like excursion. This is only like change of with Star Wars. They have collaboration. The change only of a game like visual assets. This live ops will be like the same, and they just the product manager, they set up in the calendar. Okay, this is active, for example, like from Monday to Wednesday every week, but the next week there will be different assets. And this live ops like offer is, for example, it could be active by calendar, or it could trigger by the player behavior. So when the player is like, no, didn't log in for 3 days and they come to the game, then we have a more like better offer for them. So you can actually, there could be a lot of different targeting depending on player behavior. Did you ever play in this game, Monopoly Go? Who did ever play? No, you didn't play. You should play, because it's a very successful game, and it's a very good example of how the game is developed and operated. Do you know how much money did they earn? Can you guess how much money? It was launched like 2.5 years ago, and it's very successful mobile game. How do you think how much money did they earn in 2.5 years? What's that?
$1 million.
Huh? Billions?
$1 million.
$1 billion? How many billions?
I don't know, maybe up to 2.
Up to 2.
I'm going for 20 billion.
20 billion? A lot of? There's a lot of money for games. Any other versions? So actually the revenue is $5 billion in 2.5 years. It's a lot. It's the fastest game to earn this amount of money. Like the previous record was like in 40 months, the game earned $5 billion. So there are not many mobile games which earn $1 billion. Maybe several dozens of games earn this amount, but $5 billion is really a lot. And it's a seems like a simple game. You just tap on this button, and the dice is rolled, and your character is moved for a amount which you have there, and something happens. You get money, or then you can build. You build a city. There are like 5 buildings of 5 levels, all in 3D. And when you maximize all the buildings, you get to the new small town, and you build buildings there. There are a lot of these towns. This is like sync of the currency. When you go around the board, you earn currency like here, like 6 million. And when you build, you spend this currency. How do you think how many people are working on this game? The size of the game team to make this simple game.
It's feel like around 20 to 25 people.
20, 25. Other versions?
35.
35.
50.
Versions? Huh?
50.
50. 20, from 20 to 50. So when they launched, like 2.5 years ago, before launch, it was 150 people working on this game. 150. There are really a lot of studio assets among them. And currently, after 5 billion and after 2.5 years and a lot of layoffs, they have 500 people working on this game.
Only this game.
Only this game. From production, from user acquisition, marketing, licensing. Yeah, to make a collaboration with Star Wars, you need to sign a lot of papers, a lot of contracts, and pay them royalty and so on. And the Monopoly is a brand which belongs to Hasbro. It's a big toy company, and on royalties they are earning right now every month between 12 and 14 million dollars. They're getting royalties from Scopely, the company which made this game. So it's an example of a very successful mobile game, and people playing it because they think that this is a board game. Monopoly is a board game. Probably you all played Monopoly or Monopoly similar games. But actually, why it earns so money? Because actually it's a social casino game. You just tap one button, spin, roll the dice, it rolls, and there's a lot of visual effects happening, you have a lot of money flying to your account, and you almost don't make any decisions in the game. You just tap. You can strategize in what order you update the buildings in the city. You can strategize about is this X20, depending on how many you have 700 rolls, and you can in one tap you can spend 20 rolls. So you get 20x more rewards, but sometimes there are events that you need to land on this particular tile 20 times and you get a reward. So maybe in this case, if you go to x1, you will have more chances. So very few places where you can actually make decisions to make something different in the game. You just need to tap, and when you run out of these rolls, you need to pay money if you want to continue with this emotion of getting money, like virtual money. So that's why it's like called it. It's more like a social casino than a board game. But people are not aware of this, and they think that they are playing in a board game. Yeah. So they earn this money thanks to live operations. They release the game, and there's so much happening in this game every time. So that's why people continue playing in it, and they spend money to get more of these spins and to continue experiencing this stuff, which the game proposes to them. And they continue building those like 3D cities. So if you like on the, I don't know, at start they had 100 cities. Now with every update they get more and more cities. And you have like album collection of stickers. So it's also a lot of assets you need. Like every 2 or 3 months you have a new album. If you didn't collect the stickers, you can never get them again. So it also stimulates players to spend to get that collection. So that's why I advise you to download this game and playing it extensively. So you go like deeper in like maybe 20, 30 those cities unlock and understand where is the thrill and fun in this type of a game. And it will teach you a lot about live ops in mobile games. Configs. Also this stuff which is usually not, people don't talk about. So this configs looks like this. It's just something which tells how your game should operate. So you can control the rules of your game remotely, usually through, like most often through Firebase. So any variable in your economy you can actually control. For example, you make the prices in your shop, players start to play, you get the data, and you see that actually players buy, like in 3 days they can buy everything in the shop. The prices are too low, or you give too much money in loot when they like kill monsters. So without releasing update, you can change the prices in the shop or how much loot they get from monsters. Only if you like made configs for this. If you like, when you were developing this, this is something which we should be able to control instantly, like not wait like 1-2 weeks when we release update, but they can update instantly. So whenever if you update configs on server, like you change values here, then next time when a player launches the game, in the beginning games like checks, asks server, is there a new config? If it's there, game downloads the new values and there are new prices in the shop. And actually you can turn off the whole feature. For example, you released that daily login reward and it kills your economy, so you can just turn off the feature completely. There's no daily login even for A or B group. Nobody is getting it. So A/B testing comes through it. Or for example, like also important during development, you make a new feature, you merge code, but the feature is not ready. So if you release update and that feature is enabled, actually there will be a lot of bugs and the game will look broken. So you completely turn off this feature until it's finished and tested. Yeah, Firebase, LinkLabs is what is used for the configs. And it will be your work as a game designer to to define what values should be changeable via configs in the game. Quality assurance. I think you suspect what is this. This is testing of the game and checking that like everything works. I used like green arrows here, so you need to test configs, live ops, data tracking, your technical step, your gameplay. So testers are checking everything that it works as it was planned and designed. So what you should consider during test, who will be doing it, either internal hired QA or external outsourced, what kind of software is used for this whole pipeline of testing, pool of devices. So actually you need to test on, if it's mobile games, on phones, on tablets, on Android, iOS, different versions of iOS, different versions of Android. So actually you need a pool of devices be able to check how it works for different users and how to build all this process. How you approve the build that, okay, what types of bugs we accept to be released, what types of bugs are critical and not acceptable, we cannot release until we fix them. And if you're working for consoles, there's also important certification, and it's complicated, and also you need a pool of devices, not only the consoles, but all the accessories which goes with those consoles. Usually it's outsourced until you're really big AAA studio to pass certification and to be get go from Xbox, Switch or PlayStation to phone release. And let's get to marketing. After you produced the game and checked that it works well, you actually need to attract users to your game. And in mobile, probably all see this, that the ad looks like this and the actual game and application is completely different from what you saw in the ad. And probably it's impossible on PC and PlayStation, for example on PlayStation, because PlayStation wouldn't allow you to do this stuff, Sony wouldn't allow you this, but on mobile it happens. And the main way how to get users is actually advertisement. So you release a game for free for users, but nobody knows about it, and there are millions, or probably millions of games on mobile platforms. So you need to advertise your game and actually to pay for each install. And then you also should optimize in how your page looks like. So it could be different languages, how the screenshots look, how the icon look, what keywords are in the description, so it goes upper in search and so on. There's a lot about optimizations of your stoppage. Influencers, TikTok is the main, currently TikTok is the main way of discovering new games for most people. So it's important to have around ads on TikTok or collaborations with creators there. Social media, community management, including events, public relations, if there's something big happening around your studio product. For competitive games, esports also is a way to promote themselves and make people talk about it. So this is marketing channels for mobile games, but actually many games just focus only on this and this. So that's the two main leverages in mobile ecosystem. Yeah, here's the link. I will share with you this presentation. Here's the link. You can read about why these strange ads work on mobile and why they continue to proliferate, and every game studio is using them. Team. So actually, for creating a game, you maybe need just 3 people. And when the hyper casual was all the rage, just small teams could prototype and make games and go to publisher, and publisher will publish it and share revenue. But there's much more people usually in game studios and what we call publishing side. People who need to make the product and release it on the market and attract audience. And game side, people who actually need to make the product. So a lot of different specialists, and in game design there also could be a lot of different specialization. So based on your experience, your skills and your interest, you can go into one of those directions. So production, we can unify all of this stuff under production. So production is something what helps the processes run smoothly. I asked ChatGPT to make a definition of production. I was working in production for 8 years, and I was thinking, oh, what actually I'm doing, how to describe this. ChatGPT made a description which I agree with. So you are making if you are working as a producer, and actually it's one of the career tracks for game designers. Some game designers become producers and help the team to run. So to make it happen under budget and timeline, so what production is caring about, what is the role of production in a game team, planning and scheduling, management of the team, scope management, what actually we are doing, what we are not doing, communication and reporting, that everybody should be aware what is the current status, what's happening, what decisions were made. What usually not, like maybe you would not think in your career for a long time about upper management. You get like comments from your manager and you think that, okay, manager will tell me what to do. But actually there is such field as upper management. How do you communicate with your manager? How do you inform them? What issues do you escalate? How do you support them? How do you like enable them to reach their goals? So to make your career successful, think about relationship with your manager. How will you be helping your manager? How will you communicate with your manager? How you actually to steer your manager to do what also needed for you, what will be beneficial for you, how you get recognition, rewards, and promotion. So you should think about upper management, and also stakeholders. It's everybody who has a stake in the project, who wanted to like be successful. For example, like in project Queen Rock Tour, the stakeholders were also like Queen Productions Ltd, Universal Music Group. So the IP holders of music of Queen, of the brand of Queen, they were very interested in success of the game and the high quality of the game. So for example, every week I had a call with guys from New York who were assigned as a manager on their side, and like we were discussing how the project is going on, what are the issues, asking them questions about the brand, about like history of Queen, like they were providing have an archivist, he had all the like images, he knows all the facts about the Queen, so you can get more information from them. And also stakeholders were like inside the company, like a vice president of like this division, overseeing this division, was also very interested in success of this project, because it's a very high level product, and when it was released there was a lot of publications, a lot of visibility, so the company is very interested in high quality of this product. So as a producer I also have to report and to inform to like this top management in headquarters, like how the project is going on, what are the obstacles there, and actually that person could like help to remove some obstacles, to give more resources, or to like split up approvals by legal team and so on, like resolve the conflict with legal team and so on. So as usually it's a product managers or producers are doing this, but as game designers you should be aware of what's going on in the team and how your decision also can like influence what's going on, how stakeholders are reacting on the project. Risk management, usually this is more for bigger projects, to have like a risk registry formal and to assign responsible and assign the mitigation plan, what we do if the risk occurs in small project. There's no time for this. A very important release management, especially when you already have the game on the market and you operate it. So every release is an opportunity to mess up and to break everything and to ruin the game for players and to wipe their progress and so on. So you need a rigorous checklist, what to do, what quality assurance is doing, what the different environments, like development, staging, production, how you move your build from development to staging, how you test it there, how you green light it, how you to move it in production, how you roll out it, not 100% of users, but to start roll out for some percentage of users, you check that and you increase rollout and so on. So there's a lot of like should be safeguards, and the process is important because if you mess up, if there is a bug, could be some consequences. Like once my colleague told me that when he was working at Playtika, it's a company which specializes on social casino, once upon a time, in their social casino game where people spend a lot of money, they made the release with cheats enabled. So you need cheats for QA. So the QA like, okay, progress to this level. Okay, I need to check something. I get like 100,000 coins, and then check. So and when you release with cheats, it means the player can generate like millions of coins for themselves. So it was almost for one day available, and on that day that they had zero revenue, instead like on average 100k USD revenue per day in the game. So they lost 100k USD by releasing cheats to the players, and the players were generating a lot of money for themselves, and they were not buying anything in the game. So then they like released a new update, but yeah, it's a big mistake to make a release. So somebody did not follow the process of release management. So, production tool set. These are different tools which are used for the team to work together. So you need something to run all all the tasks, and Jira is most often used because it also helps developers to track all the code commits and so on. You need a documentation somewhere which describes how the game rules. The team need to communicate between each other. You need to preserve files somewhere. You need all the like Excel sheets, docs, emails, and so on. And actually, there is a new suite, a suite of tools which actually have everything here, and it's free for up to 20 people. So if you want to make an indie studio, a lot of startups are now using it because you can start for free and you get video calls with recording, emails, storage for files, and so on. It was pretty big amount of storage. So this is production, and I think we will be stopping we are finishing this part. There was a lot, and there are some areas which I'm not going to go into detail, like legal. When you're working in a licensed game, it's important to everything, to check everything, to to sign the contracts and so on. For example, like when we were working on the Queen, we made 3D models of guitars, and we were submitting all the assets to legal team, and they were checking. They said, okay, so this is we were giving them reference. This is a photo which we are using, and this is a 3D model which we made. And they said, okay, you are using a model of a Fender guitar. And actually, Fender, it's a famous producer of guitars. They copyrighted how the engine of guitar looks like. It's very iconic for Fender guitars, and other producer of guitars cannot do it. And it's very recognizable. If you don't have a license from Fender, you cannot use this shape. You need to change the shape. Or very the shoes, always 3 stripes of Adidas, they're very recognizable. Nobody can use it without a license. Or Converse, shoes, they're also very recognizable. So you need to be sure that the shape doesn't look like Adidas, doesn't look like Converse, and so on. You don't have a license. Or for example, Brian May, he made a guitar together with his father when he was 16 years old. So it's a iconic guitar, and he was always using it, like the guitarist of Queen. But legal team says, okay, actually he licensed the look of this guitar to a small manufacturer in Great Britain. So you need to check what are the terms of this license. Can he actually, Brian May, allow somebody else to use the look of this guitar in another product, which is a game? So there's a lot of issues with licensed games. You need to be really aware what you are allowed to use, what you are not allowed to use, and legal team can help in this. Finances, where do you get money to make your game? Where do you get investment? This is a very interesting topic also. Distribution. So even on mobile, they are not just like Google Play and App Stores. There are a lot of Android stores. There could be you can even distribute game from your own website to invite people to download APK. and some games with like real money betting, they do it. So because you cannot like real money betting is problematic on Google Play, so and people can do it by downloading APK from your file, like as a file of the game, and installing themselves directly from your website. Direct to customer is important topic in mobile. Do you know how much Apple and Google takes from all the purchases? When a player purchases something in your game for $1, how much goes to Apple and Google? From $1.
0.1 cent.
Huh?
0.1 cent.
0.1 cent? What is the cut of Apple and Google? Huh?
30%.
Yes, it's 30%. So if you sell something for $1, 30 cents goes to Apple and Google. It's a huge amount of money. So currently, game companies, especially if you have, for example, if you are selling for 1 million per month, means 300K you need to give to Apple and Google, and they do not provide so much value and so much service to justify that. So now a lot of companies are establishing their own websites, and the players can go directly to website and buy stuff there with discount and more for the same amount. And for processing all these payments, or even like for like paying commission to a provider of this solution, it usually they cost like 5%. So you are like increasing your revenue for 25% if you are making a direct to customer sales in mobile. Release management, we talk about it, how it's important, but there could be a more separate about it. Metagame design, so also like to make the whole loop, it's important how metagame is designed. Yeah, so you see, we started with gameplay, and we started to look what else is required to make a game product and to make a successful game business. It's a lot of beyond gameplay in the game actually. Any questions for this part? Was it useful for you? Was it relevant?
This is a different job.
Yeah, a lot of to process. But there's even more. So, career tips. Soon you will be looking for a job, or maybe already looking. So, some tips for your career. So, think about your end game. So, where you want to end, to where you want to get, because this is like some of like tracks which you can pursue as game designers. So think what is aspiring for you. Are you like want to be on director role, or do you want just to, I don't know, you love Blizzard, or you love Riot Games and you want to get into the company and work on the games which you love, which you play? Or you maybe want to make your own like company, or you to make games, or maybe you want to actually work some tools for game developers and so on. So it will help you to define your career path and to like to make moves and to make decisions which will get you closer to your goal. Well, because it's actually hard to change tracks in games. So there is a problem that recruiters, they will look at your CV and they will look at your past experience, and they will think that, okay, you are relevant for our role, for our opening, because you have a past experience similar. Or, oh, you're not relevant for this role because you were working in a different like platform or different genre and so on. So if you are working on match 3 games and now you want to work on first-person shooters, recruiters will say, oh, you don't have a relevant experience. We are looking for a game designer who already worked on FPS. And it becomes really like hard to change the tracks. So I was working like on casual games, And when I apply to some other genres, it's really hard. They either don't get replies, or it's hard to talk with recruiters and to prove that I'm relevant for those jobs. So, if you like, you can try to land your first job in the track which you want to pursue, but it's not always possible. So, what is you can do? You can work on pet projects. So, you got into studio which works on hyper casual, and you work on hyper casual, but you dream about survival game, or you dream about FPS. So actually, you can work on your pet projects, on your own projects, like mods, level design, maps, whatever in that, to make a portfolio of that genre, of that type of games which you want to work. So when you see vacancy, you can show that, yeah, I work on hyper casual, but actually look at what levels I made for first person shooters, and you can play them, you can watch videos here, and actually I'm very relevant for this role. And it will prove to recruiters that, yeah, you don't have working experience, but you have projects and FPS genre, so you are relevant here, we can consider it. Also, I think if you are working in a big company and you want, I don't know, you're working in game design, but you want to work in community or esports events or something else, or like to become a producer, it will be much more easier to move inside one company. So you are a game designer and you want to become a producer, and for example, or you want to become a community manager, so you can do your pet projects, or you can join a bigger company where all those roles are present, and you can talk to people from the department, you can propose your help to them, assistance, and you start learning how they work, and you make aware your manager and HR department, so whenever there is an opening, you want to transition to that department. And because they know that you can do your work nice as a game designer on your current position, and you're helping that team, you already understand how they work, this transition can happen much easier than if you're from game design experience, you apply to a role in another company, they don't know you, and they just think, oh, it's not relevant. Your profile is not relevant for that role. Network. So networking is very important. So actually, usually the best vacancies, they come through the network of your friends, colleagues, acquaintances. So it's important for you as starting your career to build and maintain your networks. So the very first is your alumni. So you all will go to different companies, so I advise you to keep connection between your group, between group which is older, younger, because when any one of you will get a job at some company, if it's mid or big sized companies, there will be new openings. And many companies have referral system that you can advise or recommend somebody, and then this recommendation will be considered with a priority, or maybe even be getting bonuses. I was recommended my ex-colleague to my last company, and I get a bonus when he was hired, and he passed probation period. I get additional bonus of money, because it's the company can calculate, okay, to acquire one new employee, we need to spend, for example, on all our HR activities $5,000. So let's make a $1,000 bonus for any new recommendation. It will be much cheaper, and people will be more happy because they work with friends and so on. So this referral system, they makes a lot of sense for the companies. And you can get the job, or you can help your friends to get the job this way. So to further develop your network beyond alumni, go to industry events and talk to people, get acquainted, make business cards, exchange business cards, and after the event always follow up to write that. Okay, thank you for this discussion, it was very interesting to talk about it, let's keep connected. Or you can send some relevant information to the person and so on. Take part in game jams, publish content on LinkedIn, write your own blog, online communities. This is where you can meet other professionals in the games industry and make connections and develop a network. And then more opportunities will be coming your way. AI skills. Generative AI is like becoming really important right now, so you should be like be aware about how to make good prompts, how AI can speed up your work in learning, like using it as a mentor, as a teacher, as an assistant for yourself. You can like even generate some content with it. So you should be aware about AI because in the coming years it will be like proliferating even more and it develops really fast. So more and more complicated stuff will be available to do with AI, and you should have skills how to use it. And also you should like expand your like I would say game like erudition. Is there such an English word? So like your awareness about different types of games, different genres. So you should try different types of games, not only which you love, you already played them, you already know these genres, either with shooters or MOBAs or strategies on PC, but just find the rating of top grossing games, mobile games, download once per month, play it extensively so you understand really well the main game loop, you understand the motivations which could be there, like what's the friction points you encounter there, what this game offer you to buy, and so on. Then you will know different genres and you will be able to work in different genres and propose solutions which are relevant for that genre, or you can get some solution from one genre and propose a different, and it could be like very novel for that type of games. It's time for feedback. We still have 20 minutes, so it's not the end. There will be something also after feedback form. So please fill the Google form